Hey friends, we are live with a Random Tuesday Paintapalooza. We haven't done this in a while and we have a ton of stuff to paint, and I was like, why don't we just turn the camera on and paint with our friends? So if you guys are joining on here from Facebook, please hit that share button because it's not a regularly scheduled live, so we want to let everybody know that we are going to be painting. We're going to be taking thrifted items and we're going to turn them into home decor that we sell at jamierayvintage.com and in our retail store here in Lehi, Utah. And we're using products that you can get at jamierayvintage.com. So if you have your own thrift flips or just decor that needs a new look, we have pretty much anything you could need on the website. And if you have questions about what we're doing, go ahead and comment. Caitlin is going to be on here for a little bit. Then she's got to go grab her boys from school, but I will be monitoring comments after she goes out. Also, if you guys are channel members or paid subscribers on Facebook, we did do a live this morning, so go to community or the JRV subscribers and you can click that live. We did some thrift flipping, and maybe if we get a chance in between things drying, we can show you the thrift flips from this morning.
Yeah, that's why this already has a coat of paint on it.
Yeah. Oh, you've decided to do it what I recommended.
I was always going to do this. I told you to do it, and you're like, no, I'm going to fight it.
I didn't say that. I did. I don't know. I'm not strong enough to take that off.
You said it with your eyes.
I said it with my eyes. I'm like 2 months behind on Botox, so my eyes are actually very expressive. Normally, you can't read my face, but right now, my face holds no secrets. Jane says, today this came right up on Facebook. Awesome. Sometimes when we go do random lives, sometimes Facebook likes it and pushes it out for us.
So we got some Christmas stuff. We got some stencils out that we might do. We did a few Christmas crafts, but we had so much stuff from last year that we really didn't need to fill very many gaps on our own Christmas decor and trees. So we haven't done as many videos on it. It's still early in December. So we're like, let's do some Christmas crafting with the stencils, because tons of people got these stencils. I don't know.
Are you talking about us tomorrow?
No, I'm talking about all the regular days.
No, but we're not stenciling today.
Oh, you have the stencils out.
Yeah, just because I found them.
Guess we'll stencil next or tomorrow.
We're stenciling tomorrow for Waste Not Wednesday. We're going to make a Christmas banner.
Oh, gotcha.
I talked about it.
I thought I was going to be today.
Oh no, today we're just finishing these thrift flips. Some of them have sold, so we've got to get them to the shop anyways. So I'm using DIY's crockery, and it's going to go just fine on this little. It's basically probably like one of those little Michaels or Hobby Lobby decor, but I want to make it a little bit more custom, a little less like plain retail store. So I'm going to paint it crockery, and then we'll decide. I might just crockery and dark wax, or I might put a stencil. How are the chickens doing?
The chickens are awesome.
The chickens are awesome. They're kind of tired, not laying as many eggs right now, but that's okay because we don't need that many eggs. So
22 birds back there. Thank goodness I'm not getting 22 eggs every day.
Chickens are kind of cyclical. They go through stages where they lay a lot and they lay a little, and they need to rest.
They molt in the fall, getting ready for winter. They grow all their winter fluff and pin feathers and things, and they don't lay as much when that's happening. And then by the time that they probably would lay, when they're done getting all their feathers back in, it's full on winter, and so they're busy staying warm. Also, I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about it before, because it's like my favorite thing to talk about chickens. They lay based off of how much sunlight their combs get, the red part on their heads. And if they don't get enough sunlight on that, their bodies don't really lay a lot of eggs. You can simulate the sunlight with a light
if you need more eggs, but it's good to get.
But we like to let them have a break. I mean, we got enough birds. I'm getting like 5 to 6 eggs a day, and they're rotating around, you know.
We actually have a bunch freeze-dried too.
Yeah.
From this summer, we freeze-dried a bunch. So if we need them for like baking, we can do that. So the chickens are doing great. Miss Buttercup went off to her new home yesterday. So Zeb enjoyed his first day of sleeping in and not going to feed Buttercup this morning.
I mean, it's not like I was getting up at the crack of dawn. I mean, it was in the wintertime, it's the crack of dawn, but I wasn't feeding her until 7 in the morning. But I'm like, you know what? I'm sleeping till 8 today. Felt right.
So he did. So also I did too. So I was actually telling him, I'm like, this is yesterday's makeup still on my face because I got a late start. So if anybody says I look tired, it's because I did not reapply my makeup. It's just how it is. I brushed my hair, put it in a ponytail, and got my day going because I also was like, hey, I'll sleep until 8.
So I don't know if you guys have seen Saturday's thrift haul, you saw these. These are those the sconces that are this part's metal. And then this part was like a pressed wood. I don't even know if it's real wood, but it was a bad, like dark stain on there. It was real splotchy looking. So I'm going to go white. I probably will dark wax just to kind of give it some interest and not be one note, because this white is very bright. This is the vintage linen. Is that
No,
right?
it's white linen.
White linen. White linen, vintage linen. It's so hard.
This is an all-in-one paint, so it's got a built-in sealer in there. Leslie said that Jane Brown fell down 13 stairs. She's recovering,
Oh, no,
but she's
Jane.
that was about 3 weeks ago. She's not on here. It's Leslie. She told Leslie, and Leslie's telling us. So we will keep her in our prayers.
Yeah.
That is no bueno. She decorated her Christmas tree with one hand. I decorated mine mostly from sitting down because I was just getting over being sick. Although I better use the remote all the way around the tree. I got some really cute new side note squirrel.
It didn't turn off all your
I got these things on Amazon. They're like they look like candles, but they're battery operated. And I'll take a picture later and put it on Instagram and Facebook stories. But has a remote, but apparently my tree is too big, so you have to like turn it off all the way around the tree. And I need to probably what I should do is figure out a way to like DIY some red Christmas balls, because I need red on my tree, and we use those berries. If you guys watch the video that we just put up,
all the
and
berries
the dogs
down low are gone.
have eaten half, as high up as Rex can reach, all the berries are gone.
And he can reach pretty high. He's big.
I remember last year that he did that, but I was like, well, he's older now, right? Nope. The berries, they're just not going to survive.
He's 2 and apparently can't leave the berries alone still.
I don't know why he likes them. They don't taste good. And he doesn't mess with anything else on the tree. The tree does get messed up because he reaches for the berries.
They do. If he can get a pine cone out of there, he will crunch a pine cone up. He loves to chew on wood.
Dogs. So I want to get some red balls, but they need to be the right shape, because I prefer like a more cranberry farmhouse red. So
Comment.
we'll see.
What's the craziest thing your pet has eaten off your tree?
Or eaten, period. Let us know. Our dogs are sock bandits. They don't digest them, thank goodness, because that's dangerous, but they like to chew on them. Sometimes, I'm not going to lie, I just let them, because I'm like, well, I'd rather have you chew on a sock than something else. It's like, it's not the end of the world. The fake tree itself. They said, oh, that's smart. Fill the clear ball ornaments with the fake berries. That would actually work. Pantyhose. This is a good one. Any paper towels. Oh, yeah. Our dogs like to chew any kind of paper.
They shred all the paper.
And like little plastic toys. Like I need to sweep and vacuum our room, because there's like little pieces of plastic toys everywhere. Little Legos and whatnot.
Yeah. If Jack leaves anything down that's toy wise that's plastic, they'll get that.
Kelly said that Buck has eaten 2 lap blankets and a Norwex cloth.
Oh, wow. Just eats the whole blanket.
It sounds like Buck might be a rather large dog. Buck is not a little dog name, but maybe it is a little dog. I don't know. Rex is a medium size. He's about 75 pounds. They're actually upstairs in my room right now. I don't think we locked him in, so they might come down and visit us or
bark at all the delivery guys driving all over the neighborhood.
Bark at an inopportune time. I live in LA. Can I still order paint? Yes. I'm guessing that's LA, because it says I live in La. We ship paint nationwide to the US, and we also ship out of the United States, but you have to email. Caitlin, if you're on here, can you drop the email address? It's info@jamierayvintage.com. Just email
Caitlin. Could be
Caitlin.
Louisiana too.
Maybe. I don't know. Just email Caitlin with what you want if you're out of the country, and then she can get shipping information to you. But everything's available at jamierayvintage.com. If you live in the US, you can just order through the website. We had a poodle who ate icicles and then decorated the yard. Elena says, I train my dogs like I train my kids not to touch. The funny thing is, like, my dogs don't really eat decor, although they did eat my vintage baby Jesus that I keep on the coffee table. Luckily, I've thrifted it, but we came home there and they had it all broken up. Last year, they didn't touch it, so I don't know what the difference is. I think they're kind of upset. My mom's been gone.
That is true. Your mom is like, if we leave, your mom was always pretty much home with them.
Yeah.
or someone was home with them. And now they have like gaps in the day where they're just here left to their own devices for sometimes an hour or two.
So Caitlin is fixing it to try to get it so international orders will work. She's been working with a customer trying to figure it out on the website. So you still just email Caitlin, info@jamierayvintage.com. I'm just reading her what she posted. Caitlin, can you drop the email address though? All right. What else? Oh, I need to paint that big sheep.
Oh, it's time.
It's time to paint the big sheep.
Are you going to paint it crockery?
Yep. Crockery is the color du jour. That happens a lot. I'm going to paint everything this color today. We're doing a lot of neutral and light and bright because we want the shop to be really neutral and light and bright for the new year. So we still are doing like Christmas things when we thrift, but we are kind of pulling back from as much Christmas just because we need to get ready for the next season. So I know that sounds crazy. Everybody's in Christmas. I mean, we're still kind of decorating for Christmas. I have a few little random projects I need to finish. One of which Zeb needs to plant the big pine trees. I need to do some messy bows. I think that's what they're called for my wreaths out front. And then I need to finish getting all my candles clipped onto my tree that I bought. Why is my husband not painting for me? Zeb paints with me, not for me. He paints for the business because he is employed, as am I, by JamieRayVintage.com.
She gets to paint her own stuff.
Yeah. Actually, I base coated those for him. He's the one that bought him. When Zeb used to work full-time at Discount Tire, he did not really paint much for me. I'm not saying he never helped me because it was still a business that we both ran for family income, but it was on a much less enthusiastic scale. But now that it's what we both do full-time.
It's hard to really get pumped up when
happy.
It's like 7, 8 o'clock at night.
After
And you just worked from like 7 to like 6:30, you know, and then you got a half-hour commute.
After you worked all day, that was a different story. But now this is what we both do full time. So it works out pretty well.
Yep.
Now, I guess if he hated it, whatever. But do you enjoy this better than selling tires?
Yeah.
I knew the answer to that. Do you paint on a drop cloth? Yes. So this is a drop cloth here, and it's also plastic backed. Actually, is this one plastic backed or is this one not?
I don't know if this one is. This one's just paint backed at this point.
Yeah, it's not plastic back. It's leaking, so I'll have to scrub the counter out. But we have a bunch that are plastic backed. I actually like those, or poly backed or whatever. I like those best because they really keep the paint from leaking through. And if Zeb's decided to do like a drippy finish, our countertop is wood though, so we'll probably in the next couple of years have to give it a little sand and some new oil wax. That's the nice thing about a wood countertop. Yeah, drop cloths work really well. So I think Home Depot is the one that has the poly-backed ones, and you might be able to get them at Harbor Freight or your local hardware store. I highly suggest those. I just put the new flooring in, and we had a ton of paint on our old floor. So we have been pretty diligent about after we do big paint projects like this, we go clean the floor so that paint doesn't have time to cure.
All right, so this is going to be a white paint, but this is pretty slick. And this DIY paint is clay-based, and it covers a little bit better than that. So I'm going to do first coat of this, and then I'm going to come back with that. We probably will dark wax, heavy distress some of this stuff. Because that's when it's just like really white and stark, that's almost like too much.
Or you can mix the crockery with white linen. That makes a really great cream. Just put a little bit of the crockery in there. So Brenda said, just kidding. Her husband is currently building her a new workbench. She's throwing shade and he's out building her a new workbench. Husbands are pretty good about that. It's not necessarily what you're doing. It's just about working together. So sometimes what I'm doing is making Zeb a sandwich or dinner or laundry. Laundry is probably his least favorite chore. He does help me on occasion, but I'm pretty good about keeping it going. Right now I'm trying to get, for whatever reason.
It just keeps coming back like every week.
We have a giant pile of towels that have accumulated in the laundry room. And then the kids start their laundry and they dump it out and then they don't get everything washed. So yesterday I went through and I separated all of the random non-towel items. I did that load. That load I need to separate out with who it belongs to, because normally people do their own laundry and so it doesn't get mixed up. And then today I'm working through all the towels so that way the floor is clean and they can't be like, oh, I didn't know that was mine in there. Because if it gets too confusing and some of it's not theirs, then none of it's theirs. You know what I'm saying? So I'm giving the laundry room a reset. And then when I do that, I can get back to our laundry. We probably have a couple loads that need to be done. My kids actually all, except for Jack, he occasionally washes his own laundry. But the other kids all wash their own laundry. Jack is kind of hit or miss. I kind of have to really follow through with it, but I'm trying to teach him.
He's been instructed on the basics.
I mean, it's pretty easy. You throw one pot in there, you put it on normal, you hit start. His clothes do not require great effort to wash them. They're like athletic pants, basketball shorts, t-shirts,
we're not worried about
sweatshirts.
sorting.
Yeah, we're not worried about sorting. Just wash it on like a
lights
medium.
and darks, just go.
Just wash them. And honestly, when mine gets really behind, I'm not that concerned either. I don't wash on super hot unless I have to. And yes, sometimes we have to put in OxyClean or whatever, but you know, for him, we just keep it simple. And I'm trying to teach him to do his own stuff. Occasionally I'll do it for him. He is only 9, but he's tall enough. And if he can figure out all the trouble that he occasionally gets in when he gets bored, if he can figure out how to get into trouble, he can figure out how to do his laundry. Thanks, Leslie. She said I'm a good mom for teaching my kids to do laundry. It's been a long time coming. You know how it's easier now, though, is because our laundry is up on the 2nd floor. It used to be down in the basement, and it was horrible. We used the giant couch that you guys have seen in our family room. We used to Harrington's job was to just shovel it in and work it through and then throw it on the couch. And then on Saturdays, the kids would all sit down, supposedly, and separate out the laundry. It was a horrible system. It did not work. But now that the laundry room's on the 2nd floor, I can actually monitor it better because I'm less likely to go down the basement, but I live on the 2nd floor. And I can say that the laundry has been much better since we did that. And I will occasionally rotate the laundry, like for the kids. And my mom will keep it going. Although sometimes my mom, bless her little heart, she's not very good about keeping stuff separate. So sometimes that's what happens. My mom gets in there and she just mixes stuff because she doesn't know. All right.
She doesn't know or she's not worried about it?
Listen, I don't know. She can do what she wants. She's 84. I'm still not tall enough to reach the bottom of the washer. So ours is like front load and they're not risen, like they don't have risers. So I actually sometimes will just sit on the floor because it's easier than bending over. I have one son, he's 25. His wife is thankful he knows how to clean, wash dishes and do laundry. Yeah, all of our kids have chores. Jack's probably the least likely to do his chores without being asked. And most of them, even Odelia, they got to be reminded. But he's only 9. So he's the baby. And for being the baby, he's not too spoiled. All right, so I've got my sheep is painted. My box is probably ready for a second coat.
I feel like the spoiling comes when they're like at the tail end and everyone else is gone and it's just them and the parents.
I feel like Jack is less spoiled because he's had older siblings. So like when the other kids like Odelia, Eliza, and Harrington were little, we used to do kid stuff. Like go do all the museums and things like that. Jack, if he goes to a museum, it's because his school takes him to the museum, or he goes with a friend or for a birthday, because the things that we do are like cheer competitions, wrestling, going to the movies, like going to the lake. I'm not that they're not fun, but we go to the lake, we go out to the property, we go off-roading, we go swimming.
So he gets to do all the big kid stuff with the big kids now.
Yeah, he just does big kid stuff. And I always tell Adelia and Harrington, like, we used to sing them to sleep and stuff. Now when Jack, it's like, go to bed. It's time to go to bed.
Well, I wasn't singing them to sleep when they were 9.
No, but we'd read it. I don't know. I feel like Harrington, I used to rub his back every night and sing to him because he was the only one. If I sang all the kids to sleep, I mean, I feel like it might be an all-night situation.
It could go long for sure.
Caitlin says, I'm definitely trying to teach my kids how to clean. They need to know for when they don't live with mom and dad. My kids have to clean just because I ain't got no time to clean up after them all. Like, if I had to do everybody's laundry, it probably wouldn't happen. I could do a few more people's worth of laundry, but I would be so behind if I had to do everybody's. And I think that if your kids want you to have time to do things with them that are fun, then they need to do the things that they can for themselves so you have time. Like it's almost such a disservice to do everything for them because it doesn't teach them to work together as a family. Well, what?
No, I decided not to say it.
Now you got to say it.
I feel like if you do everything for your kids, then they're just going to end up living with you forever because they don't know how to do the stuff on their own.
That does happen.
I mean, there are definitely cases where, you know, if they need a place to stay or they've got some needs that arise, you know, it's okay to help your kids out. But eventually it's good for them to get out on their own and do their own thing.
But if they do live with you, they should help out as a member of the family. Like, it shouldn't all be left to mom. That's why some moms lose their mind, because everybody thinks mom's going to do everything. It's not good for your mental health. And it's hard. It's a lot of work when you're first training them. It's easier to do it for them. But once they get it figured out, it's good. And of course, the kids like it when mom does it for them. Like, occasionally I'll make them like a warm breakfast or something and say, hey, you want me to make you some scrambled eggs, or you want me to make you a bowl of cereal? And I'll do it for them, but they don't expect me to do it. All right, this is all painted. I think that's really cute.
Oh, yeah, that turned out good.
I like it better. It warms it up. Like,
yeah,
the silver was very cold looking.
Yeah, the galvanized was, I don't know, it's like it wasn't aging good. There's good age and there's bad age.
Jennifer is funny. She says, I hate doing laundry. I will wear everything I own, even out of season, to avoid doing it. That's that guy. But luckily that guy's married to me, so I'm pretty good.
Well, what happens for me is I'm like, well, those are work pants and I already wore them and got them dirty this week, so I'm just going to keep wearing them. You know, I'll wear the same pair of pants all week long unless I got to go out and do something that's not work related, because this is going to get dirty again.
Yeah. Well, I have my favorite things, and so when those are dirty, I'm like, okay, it's time to do laundry. And I am trying to have less clothes so then I have to do laundry more often, but I've changed sizes again a little bit, so I kind of need to go through and organize it. Okay, can you pass me that heat gun, sweetie?
Yep. I'm going to have to go get more things. Don't worry. If it feels like we're painting through all the things here, there's more.
Deborah says she'd rather do laundry than other household chores.
So did you want to leave this little plaque on here?
What?
I forgot what you said you wanted to do.
I don't love it. Like,
I want to get rid of the savings.
I think the chalkboard stuff is kind of going out of
You know, I'm going to paint it all one color, and maybe I'll just do...
like stencil it or put a transfer or something.
I'll do something logo-wise here.
I don't like... Let me be clear. I don't like any chores. Like, I like a clean house, and I keep a mostly not going to have the health department come house. It's not spotless by any means. And every now and then I get manic episodes, and that's truly what they are. Zeb could attest to it. I just go on a binge and I start cleaning and de-junking stuff. And thank goodness I do, because I feel like that keeps things mostly under control. But I
love it when you do it. I just don't want to be involved.
Everybody gets involved when mom starts throwing stuff. Not at people, but like throwing stuff out of drawers and things. Zeb does it too. Like, he just recently did the basement, but it's such a life improvement. Like, every time I go out down there, I'm like, bless that man. Now I wish that you'd get an inkling to do the pantry. It's actually, the pantry's not super dirty right now. It's just
not cutesy organized right now.
No, I just think it could be. I feel like we need to take some of the baking supplies and put them downstairs.
There are quite a few that we just don't use
that volume of stuff.
Well, and we've switched up kind of how we cook, and so some things we aren't using, and they're just still there.
Beverly says she always watches us on YouTube. It's the first time watching us during her lunch break. Well, hopefully you're eating something yummy. What's wrong with your washer and dryer? Is she talking to me? My washer and dryer is fine. Natasha says, when I'm on a cleaning rampage, you better stay out of my way. I recently, actually, was it yesterday? When was it? Sunday. I was cleaning up after dinner. Zeb and I were both, I had just finished, I scrubbed my stove. My stove has actually not been this clean. Like I wipe it down, but like there, you know how that gets the hard baked on stuff? I actually got out the barkeeper's friend and scrubbed it. And then once I did that, because like barkeeper's friend came from under the sink, I pulled everything out from under the sink and cleaned out under the sink. So it's much better.
It's like the first time in 3 years.
Oh, Deborah's washer and dryer. Got it. And Renee says her pantry's dirty, and when mom comes, I'm locking her out. If you don't know, Renee is my sister, and so is Deborah. And right now, my mom is at my sister Karen's house, and then she's going to go to my sister Renee's house, and then she's going to come home. Eliza used to like to organize my pantry, but I feel like she's just busy being 14 now. So
yeah, she's
living her best life.
Her social life has blown up on her, and it's blown up on me. I'm like, hey, I can't be driving you around like every night. Like, you got to be home. You have school in the morning.
Last night, Redrick asked if he could go to Brody's house after Brody's baseball game or basketball game that ended at 9. I was like, no. Plus, he hasn't been feeling great. Today, he had a allergic reaction, and his eyes got all swollen. He randomly gets these and we haven't been able to figure out what it is. And you can do allergy testing, but allergy testing does not work for anything synthetic. It's only like natural stuff. And I don't think it's anything natural. Like he doesn't have like food allergies.
He's a little bit allergic to grass. He gets sneezy and red eyes, but that's everybody.
Yeah. And we don't have any grass to speak of. Like we have grass, but it's all dead. Funny how cleaning snowballs into other things being cleaned. Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say that up here, it's actually pretty good because we just did the floors. So like I had to polish all my copper.
Here's the problem. The floors looked so good. So that is trickling over like cleaning does. Like that is, she's like, all right, now I'm going to fix all this other stuff.
We still have to fix the trim around the fridge, but it's not like horrible. It's only when you look at that one little spot.
It's like a little sliver. It's missing.
It's like a little baby.
Well, because I
spot.
widened them out because
they
were too close. They were rubbing against each other. They wouldn't stay level. And now it seems to be a pretty good solution where we're at right now, the width on them.
I have been pretty good at keeping my room clean, I have to say. About 6 months ago-ish, I decided to start keeping our room cleaner. And it takes a concerted effort because Zeb's a stacker. I am too, kind of, but he's a big stacker. And
I will have like 6 months of bills stacked on my nightstand, and they'll be paid and done, but they'll just still be there.
Yeah. So I very consciously, like when I get up in the morning, I grab anything from my nightstand. I pick up the garbage, I clean things up. Also, our dogs basically live in our room. We share our bedroom with our dogs. And so if we keep stuff sitting around, they will inevitably get into it. So we kind of have to keep it picked up for them. All right. I think 2 coats is going to be good on this. I probably could do 3, but I don't think I need to. So I'll grab that when you're done. I'm going to go find a stencil for the top of this. Sorry, you guys probably can't see what I'm doing because this big fat sheep's in the way.
She painted a box.
I painted a box.
It's a really nice little cedar box. I think it was a shop project.
I know. I think they used to give them to seniors when they graduated.
No, but that one's different. It looks handmade on the inside.
Oh, okay. Here you go, little sheep. You can draw it over there.
It already looks so much better. Someone thought that was an owl. It is kind of owl shaped, but definitely a sheep's head.
It's a sheep. Oh, a dermatologist can test for synthetics. Oh, he has a couple of warts he needs removed too, so maybe we can do that. How do I polish my copper? There's a million different ways. There's probably a better way. I just use flour and lemon, and I just scrub it with my scrub brush.
Lemon juice. Not even any extract or anything.
I've heard people will sometimes take an actual lemon with salt and use it kind of like an abrasive, but I make like a paste and I let it sit and then I polish it. It works pretty good. My copper's not perfect, but I don't actually like it to be perfect. So I've tried a bunch of different chemically things and they stink so bad. I hate them. So I'm going to grab a stencil. Do you need anything from over here?
Nope.
Redrick, do you need something? You're just going to stare at me? You're hungry?
I told
Why don't you grab, there's a donut right there on the counter. Why don't you grab a donut?
It's going to sneak in. Oh, we've been on half an hour already. Hang on. Let me fix the camera. That went quick.
Do we want to make that box Christmassy or not Christmassy? I'm thinking not Christmassy because we're moving out of Christmas. The one thing I still have yet to do is organize my stencils.
Okay, so I went on with the DIY paint. Some of you watching, if you're just joining, I use the DIY paint because it's a clay base. Both paints are going to adhere really well to this galvanized metal, but this is a little thinner, and it has to be because it's got the built-in sealer. And so
it's
sometimes
self-leveling.
it's self-leveling. And so when you do something that's a little slick or a little shiny, it's going to stick fine, but sometimes it takes 2 or 3 coats. Whereas the one coat with the DIY and then the one coat with the white linen has the built-in sealer. I basically use the DIY paint almost like a primer, and it's going to be awesome. Then I don't have to put a sealer coat over the top of this, and this will be ready to go. I'm thinking this has this little indent here where it used to be a chalkboard. I don't know, it might be too bright to pick up on camera. But I'm thinking of stenciling something in there, probably along the lines of like a logo or labeling that we have. We have tons of logo and antique like label type stencils and signage, not necessarily like a word. Like the knee-jerk reaction is to put something like family or forever, something like that in there. That's kind of, you know, that was trendy a while ago, but it's leaving. So just so you know.
Unless you love it, then you just keep on doing it.
Yeah, you know, if you like that, do it. I'm not here to tell you no, you can't decorate your house like that.
The white linen is cottage color. It's the Jamie Ray vintage line that's made by DIY Paint. So let me grab the link. I don't know if Caitlin might have had to leave to take her boys, pick her boys up from school. Oh, Caitlin has the link. Okay. I know she's leaving here in a minute. So.
Yeah, now I'm going to get, I mean, you see how well this DIY paint covered, even for a white, over this shiny galvanized tin. And, you know, now we're just coming back and basically adding a seal coat, and it's going to get that nice coverage, the double coverage.
Do we have a stencil brush over there? I need gray skies. So I'm using the Folk Swag, I think is what it's called, stencil. So we have a stencil company. If you guys, I know we have a lot of new people that have just started following us. We have a stencil company that I specifically designed these stencils for makers, creators. So they're super thick, super durable, and I use them a lot on our thrift flips. I just mixed this up not too long ago, so it's not too bad. It has a sealer, so it separates.
I haven't painted the bottom yet. I will actually paint that. I need to scrape a sticker off, and then once this is dry, I'll flip that over and paint that.
All right, so most of my paint was off of my brush. And this brush is actually not perfect because we used it for wax not too long ago. So I might have to do 2 coats of paint, but that's okay. Marnie says, I'm getting tired of having to read everybody's decor. The only thing we ever do a lot of words on these days is like old signage or like, it's like going to the library when you read people's decor, or like old logos and things. We'll do that. We do a lot of that. That's a little different.
Yeah,
all right, Caitlin's leaving now. Bye, Caitlin.
That hasn't gone out of style yet either. Like,
you know, and if
been
it has,
popular
then...
for a long time, and I don't think it's going to really go away just because it's very, you know, like the collecting of antiques and having kind of like old world style look has been going on forever. I mean, how there's a whole field that you can do, like you could go be a shoot, what is that called?
An archaeologist.
Archaeologist. I was going to call it an architect. I don't know why I was stuck on that. You could go be an archaeologist and like go look for this old stuff that's worth millions of dollars, you know?
I don't know how this is going to turn out. I'm not as good at stenciling as Zeb.
I think it'll turn out great.
I do feel like when you pounce it though, you
you're
get
an
more.
adequate DIYer.
I am an adequate DIYer. When you pounce it, you get more paint put down. When you brush it, I feel like it's not as
Yeah, when you
heavy.
brush it, especially with that cottage colors, it wants to kind of swirl it. Oh, there's the dogs. You gotta promise not to bark, Rex. You gonna not bark?
We're mic'd up, so they probably won't hear him. It'll just annoy us.
Oh shoot,
What?
that's the wrong can of paint. There is a little bit of difference in the hue. I'm gonna wipe that
Oh,
off.
there's a lot of bit of difference because white linen is very bright, whereas vintage linen is a more of a grade white. How do you store stencils? In a box, in a drawer. If you wanted to be like super organized, you could put them like on with.
I'm thinking of getting a filing, like an old filing cabinet, and just doing sleeves on them.
Well, at the
I haven't done it
store,
yet
at the store, we put them on pants hangers.
because
So
we
if
do
you
have
have
a
like
lot.
an extra bar that you can hang them on, you can clip them on pants hangers. Then just take a Sharpie and write the name of them, and do that for all your big ones. And then your little stencils, you could just store like flat in a drawer. I do all my letters and stuff in little baggies, and I put the name of
Can
them
you
on
guys
there.
see the difference in those two whites? One's kind of a grayish. The DIY paint is like a grayish color.
Okay.
Hey,
Rex
Redrick,
wants to go
can you let the dogs out? Apparently, Rex needs to go to the bathroom.
Here's my box. I think that turned out pretty good. I'm going to let that dry. And I think I'm not going to do anything else. I'm just going to do just the top, and then I'll just dress the sides, because mostly you're going to see the top when it's sitting down on something. I could put something just in the middle. What do you think of the front?
Sure call. I like the top.
Maybe I'll do just this flower here in the middle.
See, you are going to get to see some stenciling today. I was wrong.
Well, you are getting
I was
stenciling.
wrong 2 times.
I just meant that we're not using the ones that are out.
Oh, gotcha.
We're never like for sure we're not going to stencil something. Okay, let me just make sure this is the same. That looks pretty even to me. So I'm just using it vertically instead of horizontally, and I'm just getting a logo that or a design that's just going to go in the middle, because I don't want it to make it too busy. Hey, Nancy, she said she just got on and saw we were on.
Okay. One more coat on these. They're pretty much full covered. I guess got like a couple little peekaboos on this metal. And I'm not going to sweat it too much because I am going to distress these or dark wax them something. I might just try to see what they look like distressed. The dark wax is great, but sometimes when you got like a good clean white, it's nice to just distress it back through to show a little bit of that age, give a little contrast so it's not blinding your eye so much when you look at it. And I think this white color is going to look good. I might go grab, we have a beeswax candle over there. It's like a nice, like creamy yellow cream color, and see what that looks like up against the white. I think I'm going to like it. This would also go good if you were like doing seasonal switch outs, like if you needed to have a red candle or green candle or something for the summer. You could, or even like, I know they could do like the blues and things. You could get something, a green springy candle or something going like that. And then the white goes with everything. It doesn't matter what you put on it. It's going to work.
I'm not giving this full coverage, but it got like a little bit of a lip of paint. So I'm just giving it a little bit of a dry brush on this edge here. So it's not so weird looking. And I might sand it later just to smooth it out.
We have to duck out at about 3-ish. We have an appointment with our accountant at
Our CPA. We got to do some tax planning.
3 o'clock.
That boy went to a lot of schools, so give him all the
Yes.
credits. It's actually our shipping manager's husband is our CPA, and we just barely did our taxes for 2022 and got those in by the deadline. But now we're preparing to get ready to do 2023 taxes, and we've got to do some tax planning before the end of the year. I use the XL zipper storage bags. Oh, shoot. You know what that did? It kind of got over the top of my design here
What did you do?
when I was painting the edge.
Oh,
It's okay because it looks kind of worn.
Just distress it.
Yeah.
Just give it a little. Let's get a little stressing.
A little stress it. That's what my dad used to say. He was like, why do you stress everything? Like, because my life is stressed, Dad. And if I make things look perfect, then it's always just going to look wrong. But if it's on purpose, it just kind of gets better with time. Oh, Anna says she's cleaning chili pods for tamales. So she needed something to watch.
Nice.
I do my tamales on Christmas Eve once a year. I probably should do them more often, then I might be better at making them.
Yours tastes great.
Yeah, they're good enough. They're adequate.
You know, here's the thing about
I'm an
tamales.
adequate DIYer. I'm an adequate cook. I'm not like.
As long as you don't give me a dry tamale, we can be friends.
Yeah, Seb does not like store-bought tamales, so they don't use enough lard and fat. So I'm just going to lightly distress this, make it look aged and worn, and then I will bring it up so that way you guys can see it. I mostly go over the flat surfaces softly, and then I'm pushing, you probably can't tell, but I'm pushing harder on the edges because that's where things naturally wear over time. If you push too hard and make it look like a cheetah, you're not doing it right. And because I used cottage colors, I won't have to seal it. As soon as I'm done distressing, it's done, and I'll move on to my next project. Oops. Need to heat gun these hinges. And I like to kind of sand the hinges too so there's not any paint gunked up on them. Yes, if you need to reverse image what an item is, just go to Google Lens. Just put the item in there and it'll give you an information on what it is. That's what I use. Hey, Natalie. Whoa. Jamie Elaine.
Did you burn it?
I sure did.
Just burn your paint.
Burned my paint. Now I got to let that dry. And then I got to sand it. And then I got to paint it. You got to be careful with the heat guns. Don't be reading comments. You're supposed to be paying attention to what you're doing.
Oh, hey, it's Russ.
Oh, hey, our sander came. We've been getting each other's packages. It's our neighbors here.
All right.
Thanks, Russ.
Appreciate it.
That's actually exciting. You want to show them what we got? We have finally made it. Surf Prep sent us a sander, and we're going to try it out and make some videos with it.
Yeah.
All right. No big deal.
A video near you.
I need to see what we have to include in the video. It might be this week, maybe next week we'll use that. I'm not very good at brand deals. I'm not going to lie. But
we typically only do them if it's something we're actually going to use a lot and that we've had good recommendations from other people that have been like, yeah, that was a good experience and a good product. So now we're going to try it out.
Yeah, I wanted to buy one with my own monies. And I was like, well, I'll see if I do a brand deal, if they'll send me one. That kind of happens as you start getting more views and stuff on your channel. And they said they would. So that was exciting. But yeah, we get contacted fairly regularly for brand deals. I do them, like Zeb said, very infrequently. Most of the things we do
Honestly,
are
most
just
of
things
them are like for makeup or something that's not like something we normally do.
Or something that we sell. Like, I'm like, clearly
we
you
just
haven't.
got one today. They're like, hey, we want you to be a brand ambassador for our exercise drink. I'm like, they're like, we think you're the perfect athlete. That's like the pitch that they started out with. I'm like,
what? Clearly you don't know
I
me.
was an athlete like 25 years ago. Those days are gone.
I ain't an athlete. I'm a middle-aged mom. Does Zeb have a mic? Did you take your mic off?
Oh, I did. It's over here hiding. I took it off, but I didn't know what Russ was gonna have to say. So
Carolyn says, been watching you for years. Thank you. Lately, we've had a bunch of people say that they're not seeing us in their news feed. So if you have that problem, one of the things you can do is unfollow, unsubscribe, and then immediately refollow, resubscribe, and on the notifications, click notify all. So that way YouTube and Facebook know that you do want to see our content.
Forget to resubscribe.
Don't forget to resubscribe. Yeah, don't just unsubscribe and go away. Then I'll be sad. All right. I'm going to stop messing with this. I'm going to distress it later. I'm going to let it air dry, but let's show it to you up close. So this is just a little cedar box. And I used our folk art swag stencil on the top, and I used it horizontally, and then I used it vertically here just to add a little detail to the front. And that's it. That's all she wrote. I must have touched that with something.
This clock has been more difficult to paint. It's got like a lot of detail on the front, like highs and lows and different wood directions, and it's giving me a run for my money.
Unless I strip that completely, it's never going to be perfect, but I'm going to let it dry all the way. I'm going to lightly distress it and kind of work with my burn victim there. All right, what can I do next? Do I want...
Are you going to stencil that?
Well, either that or I could dark wax.
So are you planning on dark waxing your sheep, or are you just going to, you know what it might be better to go with is like a white dry brush over the sheep.
You think so?
Yeah, because if you dark wax, it's going to make it look like it's a muddy sheep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's probably good. Because then if I white dry brush, then it'd be like tone on tone.
Yeah.
Thank you, Megan. She said that was pretty. Let me see if I can find our stencils.
Okay. I'm going to go get the other heat gun. We keep borrowing back and forth. I have another one right here.
I don't know why we do that, but it happens. All right. I'm just going to link all the folk stencils that we have. And then you can pick and choose what you want. Thanks, Lisa. She said she's been a member for 24 months.
That means she's probably got the gold star there by her, or gold bird.
All right. I dropped the link for the stencils. Caitlin's much better at dropping links than I am. You have to be super careful when you're doing the cottage color because it does have the built-in sealer. So if you heat gun it, it will bubble if you don't move it around.
Yeah, normally, you know, just disclaimer, just let it go dry over there, go run, do something. You know, come back in an hour. It'll be dry and ready to go.
Okay, I think I want to dark wax this, but I'm just going to set it aside. And I'm going to heat gun the sheep so I can dry brush it. I'll start making a little pile of my finished projects. It's very satisfying to like see them all together. This one is taking a bit to dry because it's got all these crevices. Okay, Janet says, I have a question. I bought a white painted trunk a few years ago. It is really yellowing. I think it has wax over it. Can I repaint it with your white paint? Should I sand it first? So if you have wax, you might want to sand it just to remove as much wax as possible. If you know for sure it's been waxed, you can also use mineral spirits to remove it. But I think if it was done many years ago, if you just sand it to give it some tooth, then you can go ahead and paint it. If you're still concerned that the yellowing could be what's actually underneath the paint, which is more common than you think, then I would suggest lightly sanding it, starting with a product like Salvation Solution. It's a primer that we sell that's water-based. Do 2 coats of that, let it dry overnight, then paint it. Because a lot of times yellowing, people think it's whatever it was sealed with, and many times it's whatever's underneath coming through the paint. So to be safe, if I have yellowing like that, I typically will prime it. Grania says, in all the years of following you two for the first time, I'm watching you and crafting along. Sweet. I think a lot of people are. Tis the season, winter time, unless you live in Australia and it's summertime. A lot of people get crafty. It's like you bake and craft. Can you use oil wax over dull finished wood cabinets? Yeah, as long as it has something to soak into. It's not a product that you just put on something that has a finish to it. It has to have something to soak into. So if most of the finish is gone, I think you would be able to put it on there, no problem. And then just follow the directions that are on the container and you should be good. I always suggest trying an inconspicuous area first and make sure before you commit to it that you're going to get the look that you want. Cheryl, I am feeling better. What happened is I just took magnesium on an empty stomach, and it took me about a day to get over that. I know better. In fact, when I got sick, I was like, oh, I know what I did. I know what I did.
But that live stream was fun, right?
Yeah, well, I rewatched it later. I wasn't actually on there. Caitlin was on there.
Yeah, I thought it was Jamie commenting a time or two, and it was Caitlin the whole time. Jamie did not tune in.
I was not in any way, shape, or form. At that point, I was not commenting on anything. Oh, great. Nancy got her Black Friday package. If you're waiting on milk paint, we should have that in the next couple days and be shipping it out. We keep a huge stock, but obviously on Black Friday, we sell 10 times more paint than normal. So we have to reorder. And luckily, it's made here in Utah. And so it was our restock order was shipped today. So we should have it tomorrow or the next day. And we'll get all those orders shipped out. Some people got their milk paint shipped to them because we just used our stock. But some people, you got to wait for the restock. Also, if you ordered towels, those came in. And I know that the gals are working on getting those towels out. And if you missed out on ordering the towels that you can stencil, the ones that have the green sack stripes on them.
Ones like these, I don't know
have
if you
more
can see it.
coming.
These ones back here.
Emma says she's painting a tote. Do I have the, yes, we have the Painterly paint. If you've ordered it from us, it should already be shipped. If it's not, if you haven't gotten a shipping tracking email, email Caitlin and let us know. But yes, we have Painterly in stock and ready to go. So if you need some, you can come by the store. We have some on display, or you can order online. The Painterly paint, if you guys are new, is a new artist paint. Comes in a tube, but it's got no acrylic
really
binders.
thick, almost like an oil paint.
Yeah, no acrylic binders, blends with DIY paint. It's amazing.
It's
super bright colors. I've never found bright colors that bright that aren't oil that are that thick. Like, it's amazing. This is taking me a hot minute to get all these crevices.
Yeah, mine too.
Dry.
I'm about to start doing some finishing touches here. What time
There's
is
like
it?
a drip in the original finish that I can't get off. Like, it's super hard. See that?
Oh, that looks, it's just a little mole.
Just a little mole on the side of the sheep face.
It's a beauty mark.
All right, I'm gonna let that cool down a little bit.
Yeah, that looks like it's in the original glazing.
No, it is. That's why I can't get it off. It's not from me. Imagine that, professionals that aren't perfect. Okay. All right, what do you need me to help you on the tote?
No, I'm gonna clean that up. That's just DIY paint. That'll wipe right off.
What are your plans for the tote?
I'm gonna stencil in that little plaque and distress a little bit of the galvanized back and call it a day.
I like it.
Okay. We're waiting on everything to dry right now at this point. Let me go see. I'm gonna go grab a couple of our thrift flips from earlier that we did with channel members.
Okay.
Do you guys remember the bunny with the red eyes?
We fixed the red eye bunny.
So I'm going to show you the red-eyed bunny. All we did, it was Jamie's idea. I was going to paint it, but she's like, just get a black Sharpie, fix those eyes. And we just Sharpied over the red. Some kid
then I lightly distressed it.
had taken a red marker, and then she distressed it so that it wasn't like so bright and animated. But bunny's done. It's on wheels. It's got a little leather pull string here. And then we had this. This is from a few weeks ago. I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. This was like a rusted wall pocket. Maybe it was from last week. Used the IOD. Which one is this?
That's the, oh goodness.
The Iron Orchid Designs transfer.
It's a transfer, but what is it called?
I can't remember. It's got
Does anybody know what that one's called?
It's got a bunch of like woodland animals and mushrooms and stuff in it. But the bunny is by itself, but it looked like it was floating. So Jamie came and put these mushrooms in here.
And then
and
I
that
sealed
turned out
it.
really good. It's all sealed up.
I'm not good at like navigating our own website. IOD transfers. I got to look it up now. Got to know. Oh, it's Willow. Whispering Willow. I wonder if they named that after Sally's daughter, Willow.
Maybe.
All right, I'm going to drop the link to that transfer. Whispering Willow. Lisa knew it.
So this cutting board had some cracks on the end. This is from, and it's used, like it's got cuts. I have sanded it, and I did do some tung oil on there, but just a couple pieces of like thin galvanized tin over here in the corners where it was cracking, and it's kind of like a fun European style repair on this cutting board here. This is actually sold. Someone has been patiently waiting for it. I got it done. It's going to the shop. It should be shipped out really soon.
Now we also need to get that red mug holder that sold. We just have to lightly got to hit that with sandpaper. There's I keep thinking that I have it all the way dry, and then there's little like crevices with wet paint.
All right, let's see if we can get this to not glare too bad. This is one of the printables if you're a channel member or a subscriber on Facebook. This is one of the printables for this month. We had a gold frame. This mat was like a weird yellowy color, and I just painted this with DIY's little black dress on the mat. And then we've got this really fun black and white kind of winter cottage scene in the forest for the printable this month. That one turned out good. The gold and black and the monochromatic look with the gold frame is really awesome. I love it. And then this is that kind of yellowy frame that we had. I did not end up painting the mat because it worked with the other printable for this month. You get 2 every month if you're a channel member. And you can print up to 100 copies. So if you're a channel member, go grab the link off the community tab, or in Facebook subscribers, there's a link in there, and you can download the high def images and print up to 100 of them. We're licensed for that. But this got painted crockery, dark wax. I left the mat alone because I thought it worked really well with this fun little Christmas scene we put in here. But had a lot of fun on that video this morning.
All right, here's my sheep. I think it definitely looks more like a sheep now than it did before. It looked like burnt, splotchy brown. I don't know what the look was that they were going for, but I feel like this is a better option.
No, it was like other colors too. It was like red. It had like some reds and maroons in there.
Maybe it's just supposed to look rusty. I don't know.
Yeah, though I like the white dry brush on there a lot.
It reminds me of the aliens from the Fifth Element.
I mean,
here. People said they loved the sheep, and I actually think somebody bought the sheep, so somebody must have liked it. I think it looks good. It looks better.
It's
not an owl. Chubby little sheep.
It just looks like a fat sheep facing you from the front.
I wonder if this is cool now. My little situation that I had here. Now I can sand it. This is the one that I heat gunned a little bit too much. I'm gonna. If you get really close, you can see it's got a little texture to it, but
I'm gonna go set this
I fixed
outside.
my little bubbly problem on this. There we go. And it opens and shuts fine. People are like, but if you paint hinges, they won't open and shut. I'm just showing you. It opens and shuts. I think this one's done. I can go ahead. Do you already have dark wax out here, sweetie?
I may over here. Yes.
Yeah, I'm done with this. So I'm going to throw this brush in the wash. Here's your white brushes.
Okay. I'm at that point where I'm either going to have to heat gun a lot or something.
Well, you have about 20 more minutes. That's all we got. I'm going to finish this one, and then if you lightly sand that toe, I guess I can start painting that. What color you want to paint that?
I don't know. I was going to go like a neutral, probably still gray, or
are you going to do DIY
wood.
paint or gray skies?
Doesn't matter. Weathered wood or gray skies.
I feel like DIY paint might stick a little bit better to that super shiny finish. But if you give me whatever paint color you want, I will.
Well, we got Gray Skies right over there.
What's the best way to paint aluminum? With cottage color and DIY paint. I just painted this. Here's the original finish. It does take a little bit of time to like cure it up, right? Like you don't want to go trying to scratch this right now. That paint has to harden, but it will stick. And the DIY paint works really good too. If you're really worried about it, we've been on an hour. Can you fix that?
Oh, yes.
All right. If you're really worried about it, you can use Salvation Solution, let it dry overnight, and then you can paint it with DIY or cottage color. Like if it's a high traffic aluminum item, I would start with a Salvation Solution primer that we carry. It's I think it's called DIY Salvation Solution, right? And that stuff is legit. Do we have the dark wax out? Or no? Oh.
Yes, it's right here.
Oh, I thought I asked for it.
Okay. Now to stencil.
We have 504 people watching on a random.
That's awesome since we don't
Tuesday.
normally go live right now.
Also, like back east, though, it's like after 5. So people are kind of finishing up their
It's
day.
almost 5. They're 2 hours.
Oh, yeah, it's almost 5. I'm just going around the kind of details and the edges. And I'm pulling it to the middle, so there will be some dark wax in the middle, but it's mostly going to be on the edges. Because cottage color has a built-in sealer, you have pretty good control over the dark wax, whereas if you were using DIY paint, you'd have to seal it with clear wax or a liquid sealer before you dark wax it. Otherwise, it gets kind of dirty. So this just is kind of giving it a little bit of an age. A little bit of dimension. On projects like this, you got to be careful if you're a reseller that you're not spending a crazy amount of time flipping them or you'll never make a profit. So that's why I love the cottage color because, you know, you put a couple coats on there, you add a little wax or a stencil, maybe a little IOD, and you're done. You don't have to do such a crazy involved finish. We know how to do crazy involved finishes, and we do occasionally when we feel like it, but not all the time. Renee was busy making her lunch salad. Renee puts her earbuds in and listens to us while she works. My sister does data entry. She's probably much faster at typing than me. I haven't typed in so long.
Do you have the stencil brush you were using for the Gray Skies?
Yeah, that's this one.
Oh.
It's
a wax brush.
You can clean it off. You're not supposed to go back and forth, but I do.
I mean, I do it daily, so it's fine.
Just every time I think I've smeared the wax, I get a new spot that. All right, I'm going to call it good. There we go. See, it's not too crazy dirty. That's all finished. Earlier was on the other live, you were finishing all the projects, and I was just like halfway through most of my stuff. And now it's the reverse. Where did you find your sheep head? Oh, the one that we have above our stove that we used to carry on our website. I don't think we have anymore. I need to find.
They don't have that one, so we got to find a different one.
They might.
Think they got that one?
Ellen says she's misplaced all her scissors. That happens, huh?
I've got 2 pairs out here. Don't ask me why I needed 2.
I don't know either. So what do you want me to do with this? You want me to lightly sand this? Or what? This is your purchase.
Yeah, it's lightly sanded, so it's got a little bit of tooth. Someone spray painted it with some super shiny spray paint, high gloss paint. Sorry, I'm just over here lining the stencil up. I'll come show you close in a second. But it has a little bit of a gap that's larger than this will take.
This is not
between the
working very
words.
well.
We might have to just put that one aside for a minute and hit it with the sander. There are a few things out in the garage though that you could grab, or you could heat gun these and we could start distressing those or dark waxing them. I was going to dark wax them and distress, do the combo.
Heat gunning these?
Yes.
Okay, I'll do that. I choose that. Oh, word processor. I build databases. It requires typing on a computer. I don't know the difference. But I'm assuming it's just more technical. So my sister's been working there a long time. Ellen says, trying to be more organized. Don't know what happened. Well, if you don't live alone, that's probably what happened. But if you live alone, then you don't have anybody to blame but yourself.
All right, so there's a lot more on this stencil. I just used the center. This is what we're talking about, like labeling, branding. It's not a sign. It's like a brand that is like from, you know, it's on old marmalade crocks from the 1800s. I will distress that so that it looks a little more like right here. I got a little thin with some of the logo there, but I feel like that's good. And I didn't use the whole stencil. You could if you wanted to. I was looking to see if maybe I could fit some in the corner, but I decided I wanted to just leave it plain. And I'm going to distress the rest of this now that it's dry and clean this up here because I want to leave the inside galvanized.
You've got like some of the vintage linen on the bottom.
The whole thing's vintage linen underneath it. Here, do you need this?
It's like a weird, which one's right?
They're all right.
Okay. It just looks like it like got smudged out. And this is a little weird right here. Cheryl says she loves it.
Yeah, just real simple. It was like a little galvanized tote. Said, I don't even remember what it said.
I think it said like savings.
Oh, savings, yeah.
I was like, who puts their savings in a tote? I don't know. Are you sure you don't want a third coat on this?
I was going to heavy distress it. You can third coat it if you want here.
I'm just going to go the opposite direction. That way it won't be streaky. It's always like the big flat areas where I feel like you can't really distress it enough unless you want to zebra stripe it. So my pro tip, if you don't mind a little texture that goes each direction, I paint it the opposite way. Because I find like if it's a slick situation like this is, it like, if you go the same direction over and over again, it kind of makes ridges. That makes sense. And it just keeps looking streaky. So I go the opposite direction and solves that problem.
Missed a couple spots on that.
Looking for creamy white. So if you take white linen and add some crockery to it, that is like such a good creamy white.
Well, and it's a brown creamy color because the crockery is a brown tone versus like you can get a yellow cream on some things.
Yeah, it's not a yellow cream.
Okay, let's see if I can do this. I'm just going to get the corner of this wet. I got a little DIY paint up here when I was painting the handle where I don't want it, but it's just the clay-based paint, so I should be able to water activate it and get it off. Because I was careful not to paint with the white linen under there.
So probably what we'll do, not on the live video, when we sand that other tote that needs to be painted, we will also sand like the back of these so it's a little bit neater. Delissa, we are live. This is a random Tuesday Paintapalooza. We've got about 10 more minutes and then we're going to sign out because our accountant's coming and we got to tidy up. What? Oh, sorry, CPA. I made point to call the CPA earlier.
I know.
They go to a lot of school and there's like lots of numbers involved. It's a whole situation. I have a lot of skills, but I cannot even imagine. accounting. We have a cousin who's an accountant. I'm like, isn't that boring? He actually told us. So there's some accountants, like I think Jordan really does like the strategy of it. But our cousin, I remember he's like, I mean, kind of, but it's in high demand, so it'll be a good career. I was like, talk to me in 20 years if you think it's boring and you're doing that. How do you not have paint all over your kitchen? Oh, we do. It's a job. It's a job hazard. We wouldn't have this kitchen if we didn't have this job. So
Jordan said, because I asked him kind of the same thing, and he's like, I really love just finding the things that other people have missed and saving people money.
That's a good question. So do you always keep going with the color you have, or something if it needs a different look? So if we didn't like it, we would definitely use a different look. Most things look good in neutrals, no matter what. But typically when we're pulling the items that we want to, we know ahead of time, okay, today we want to do these colors. What will look good in those colors? And those are the items we pull out of our garage. But if we were to paint everything in our garage, then we definitely would have to have more colors. There's some things that it doesn't necessarily work. Oh, you know what I did, Zeb? I didn't paint the opposite direction and it's still streaky.
No.
See, I know better. I told them what to do and I didn't do it. But yeah, no, we kind of plan before we go live what will look good with the colors that we have out. Because it just, when you're doing a lot of stuff, it's easier to just pick a few colors. And because we're doing it for our shop, once it gets in the shop, it kind of all, doesn't look like everything's the same color. If you were to mix paint colors to get your new floor color, oh, I have no idea. It's tannish paint. It's gonna get grayed out and dark.
Yeah, it'll go gray eventually. It's red oak, so it's got like a pinkish undertone, and we white waxed it. But it will eventually get kind of gray. We know this because the 3-year-old floor in there is the same oak, and it's got a grayish tone now.
And our floor is way too many colors for me to even begin to tell you what to do to make this. It's a lot of taupes, some pinky undertones, some dark gray.
There's a couple spots I missed.
Said our floors look beautiful. We love them. We actually need to return some of the flooring because we had a bunch left over.
Yeah, I think they gave us extra because I told them 800, which should have been about spot on for what we needed to do the pantry.
And we didn't even pick it all up. There was some that came in later that they just refunded us for, and then we have probably a couple $100 worth of extra flooring in the garage.
We should do that and go out to dinner.
Buy ourselves something nice, like a steak dinner. All right, can I have the sandpaper?
Yes.
Do you want to paint those metal things again to put on here, or do they have enough paint on?
I think they've got enough. I'm going to distress everything. I might even, it hasn't cured very long. It's probably not even quite dry. I might even wet distress.
Yeah, that one, those ones need to be heat gunned a little. So these have little sconces for candles that go on them. I wonder if, because remember that we only had one in stock, but we actually had two. I wonder if Caitlin ever heard back from that that person. Oh, somebody needs the website. So we sell this paint on our website. Let me grab it. I used to do mortgages, so I can do jobs with numbers, but I don't love it. All right, I can use it in the cottage. Oh, the flooring, yes, we could, but
I don't think it's enough to finish it, so we'd have to get more. And we already purchased a bunch of vinyl flooring that we found on sale.
Well, it's laminate, it's not vinyl.
Oh yeah, laminate that we found on sale at Costco. That's just sitting there waiting for me to get a hot second to go put that in.
We may eventually do hardwoods, but right now, like, clearly we're busy because we were supposed to have the cottage finished the end of summer and it's still not even remotely done. So we are going to do the vinyl.
Well, we changed gears. I had it ready to start going back together almost.
It still wasn't going to be done.
And we knocked the ceiling out of it.
Still wasn't going to be done though.
Which it'll be good. It's just going to be a little bit extra work. And we discovered that the HVAC unit up there is making the ceiling bow. Because we knocked the ceiling out, we could see it. And so I need to go shore that up and change how that's hanging up there.
So this is like an embossed tin. So I'm just kind of sanding back till we get to the dark color underneath. And then I'm just sanding around the edges. Is that too bright for you guys to see the distress on this? Nothing crazy. Deb was going to do a heavy distress, so he can come back and do it if he wants to.
No, I'm okay with
I feel like
edges.
it's a little bit difficult to heavy distress the cottage colors because it's got a built-in sealer. So
I'm pushing really hard on this metal. When you're distressing metal, sometimes when you sand it, it just looks like you scratched it. So the wet distress just gives you like real subtle along the edges. And I just painted this. If I were to wait for a day or two to try to come back and do this, it would really fight me. It probably would not wet distress.
Megan says she's having fun going back and forth watching us and other Vlogmas out there. I actually thought about doing Vlogmas, and my daughter
I told her no, and then Odelia was like, I'm going to do some adulting right now, Mom, and give you some advice.
Yeah,
she's like, let's just have Christmas. We've been so busy.
Which is true. So, but we are going to try to do more painting days like this because we know a lot of people are crafting and we have a lot of things to get caught up on. We're not traveling for the holidays, so it's a little bit less busy. So we're going to try to do more shop tours so we can really promote and show what's in the shop, show what's available for gift giving, and more painting stuff, especially over the next couple of weeks. So make sure you hit all notifications. You can also sign up to get our text messaging. So you get a text when we go live. If you go to Jamie Ray Vintage, you should be able to sign up for text messaging there. I hope they approve your dark blue all-in-one paint that you made. We did send them a color, so we'll see. I need to follow up with Debbie, see how that's going, because we got to get that ball rolling. So we have lots of releases coming, and that's scheduled for
First of the year is going to be really fun.
Yeah, that's scheduled for release. Well, it's supposed to be scheduled for release in January, but we don't have anything definitive. So if we have to change it, then that's going to push a lot of other things back, or push back cottage colors because the other things are already scheduled. And when we have a release for something, we got to like plan ahead so that way we can create content and promote it. My metal snowman has been stuck in USPS world forever. The one that you ordered from us, we have more that came in stock. So if it's never going to show up, let Caitlin know so we can send you another one, Sarah. So we actually just got 4 more. So if you wanted one of those metal snowmen and you didn't get one, head over to the website because we just got 4 more, and I won't be reordering because it's too close to Christmas. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you go to JamieRayVintage.com, click new to JRV, and all the new Christmas stuff, all the new clothes, the new decor, it's all in there. And we just got a bunch of stuff that I've got kind of for the new year, like some new neutral table runners and bedding, a really cool like rustic horse.
Are the rolling pins in there? I love
these really cool antique style rolling pins. Anyways, that's all in the new to JRV, so you guys can check it out. I will try to go live Thursday if we have time to show you. I'm just not sure the walk time. We'll see. All right. Yeah, Sarah, make sure to message Caitlin. It depends on how long it's going to be. Sometimes we have to give them an extra like week because if there's been any kind of delay in weather with the post office, sometimes it just takes them a minute. But if it's like a couple weeks, then it's probably not going to move, and we have to put in a claim for lost mail. How's your wet distressing going? That's actually working pretty good.
It's really starting to fight me.
Yeah, you let it dry too long?
This one is, yeah.
Well, I'm having to distress this quite a bit. There are always surprises when you renovate. Oh, yeah. We know that. It's nice, though, that it's not something that has like a date on it. But that's also probably why it's not finished.
Yeah, I'm actually super good with a deadline. Like I will go work over there until 3 a.m. weeks on end. And Jamie's like, I'm glad I'm single now.
Or I have to go sit over there in the zero gravity chair and doze while you work. It'd be super cute when you get your snowman. It's like, it's not vintage, but it looks vintage. Okay, this one's done.
Okay, I'm gonna put these back together. I think I like them bright. I was gonna dark wax them. What do you think?
No, I think if you dark wax them, it's gonna make them muddy. Is that the right direction?
Yep.
That's upside down.
It's not upside down.
Oh, are you sure? No, it's the other way.
No, it's just how they
That's
go.
how it goes?
Yep. Because the other way, if I flip it, it would be hanging off the thing.
You're probably right.
It holds a candle. You want to go grab one of those beeswax candles so we can show them the contrast. I wanted to stay, I talked a little bit about it earlier. I wanted to stay like white and neutral with a lot of this decor that we're doing. That way you can add color in, you can add floral to this, or you can put some fun jars with, you know, it's a old marmalade brand. How fun would that be to get like some little like marmalade canning jars or something? Put them in there. But this is just a beeswax candle. Might be a little large for ours, but
it's a little wet still inside there. So.
But the yellowy of the candle, like I wouldn't, if I'd have painted this another color, it might not have gone as well, but the white, it works. You can use any color candle. It would look good with black candles.
Yeah, you got paint on it.
It's fine.
It's all right.
It's wax.
Oh, is that dry? You want to finish putting that together?
Oh, I can.
It's 3:01. So maybe if we do like 5 more minutes.
I think Eliza is calling us though, because she's done with cheer.
Oh, I don't know.
She called you.
Oh, let me message her.
Okay, quick. Gotta go fast.
Fast, fast, fast.
That is not distressing. I have so much paint on this.
It's too thick. Oh, here's this piece.
So sometimes the piece, you got to kind of work with the piece when you're distressing. We get asked a lot about distressing. Like, how do you know how much to do or where to do it? I always start light, and then if I feel like it needs more, I keep going in those areas where it would normally get wear. So normal wear is going to happen on the edges just from getting cleaned, getting touched, dropped, doors opened. So like right here, this might get some more wear from being opened and closed a bunch. And that's kind of like rule of thumb for what I'm going to distress and how.
I'm just moving this here so Zeb can do a little pan and you guys can see what all we finished together today in about an hour and a half. So I think that's pretty good.
I may dark wax this one just because it's got a lot of detail and I think it would lend itself to that and still not look.
Well, if you keep the dark wax like down in the cracks.
Yeah, not like a full dark wax, like just in the details.
A little baby dark wax.
Yeah, just a little one.
Definitely, it was a neutral day. Neutral. This is the one on Saturday that I was like, you can hide your snacks in here.
Can hide your snacks in here.
All right, guys. I'm going to finish this up. If you want any of our thrift flip projects, you can go to Saturday Thrift Haul. And anything that says will be painted probably isn't done yet. We will update any photos of the things we have finished. But if you do buy it and it's not finished yet, we usually will get it done fairly quickly because we see that order come in and we push it to the top of our to-do list. Yeah, I actually think dark wax on that clock would be good because of the face. It'll kind of help blend that color in. All right, there's the Thrift Haul collection. Let me drop the cottage color paint collection in case you need your own stuff. Oh, are you going to do the dark wax too?
Well, you're still talking, so I'm going.
All right. Do you need a paper towel?
Yep.
Okay. Sometimes, a little pro tip, if you dark wax and it's not pulling off right away before it sits very long, get your towel or lint-free rag slightly wet, and that will help.
Also clear wax.
Also clear wax too. I've also been known to dry brush the base color over the top, even though technically you're not supposed to. Eliza's not getting back to me, so she might have gotten a ride from somebody else.
That would be awesome. Oh, up top. So because I came over and finished this with the cottage color with the built-in sealer, this isn't just, if this was DIY paint, this would just be like sitting on it. It wouldn't really.
It It would just look
I'd like
poopy.
smear around, and I wouldn't be able to like get it wiped off all the way on the flat surfaces.
No, it looks good. I like it. It definitely needed some more dimension. So stick around because as soon as Seb's done with this, he's going to pan all of our finished projects. So yeah, so that way you guys can see them.
Okay, here comes the pan.
All right.
Wait for it. All right, so we got the sheep, a little tote, the box back there that was a cedar box,
Just painted our little.
and these sconces and a clock. I might do some more waxing on that clock. The clock needs more waxing in a couple places. I'm looking at it here on camera, and it's looking off.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us today. Be sure to visit JamieRayVintage.com, hit that share button, and if you like this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Jamie Ray Vintage for more.
DIY.
We'll see you guys on the next episode, which is tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Mountain Time.
Catch you guys later.
Bye, guys.